All right, joining me now is our foreign policy expert and member of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, Harley Lippman. He is joined by Newsmax foreign policy analyst, former Trump foreign policy advisor, and author of Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, Dr. Waleed Phares. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Good to see you this morning. Waleed, I want to start with you. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as you know, is in Israel today. Wednesday, he said the move to annex the West Bank could jeopardize President Trump's peace plan. I want to get your thoughts on that. What do you think?
Well, of course, there will be an Arab opposition, starting with our friends, but our friends with good advice that this should be done later during negotiations about the final status, while the opposition, such as the Muslim Brotherhood, the Islamic regime in Iran, they definitely are going to be using this to create a wedge between the United States and Israel. I think this has to do with domestic Israeli politics. Maybe there is a large group that wants to make sure that Israeli sovereignty at least will be recognized over the areas where there are settlements or demographic growth of Israeli agglomeration. But at the end of the day, what will determine that is going to be the solution in Gaza. Because at this point in time, the situation in Gaza, has to be resolved one way or another. And the talks about disarming of Hamas is now being replaced slowly and gradually by talks about allowing Hamas to stay. And I think that would be a strategic mistake in my view.
Yeah, Harley, according to the Wall Street Journal, Jared Kushner floated the idea of moving forward with plans to rebuild the territory that Israel controls and to allow Hamas to maintain control of a pocket of territory until it can disarm. And according to the Journal, the plan has support from Israel. Harley, what more do you know about this?
Well, I think the idea for this plan is that Israel could show that the area that they're controlling is going to be one where over time Palestinians will thrive, that Israel's going to work with partners to build up that area, make it safe, and as a showcase to Hamas's area, they're going to be able to demonstrate that Palestinians overall are going to want to live in the kind of place where Israel controls. Not that Israel will necessarily control it, but just a place where there's going to be growth, innovation, rebuilding, freedom. That is the goal of Israel. And strategically, they're placed to jump in should Hamas attack them. But as your colleague said, I think I agree with your colleague, Waleed. I think it would be a strategic mistake to do that, to give Hamas legitimacy, recognition, to keep them in power. And with 2,000 freed political prisoners who have just recently rejoined the ranks of Hamas, they're going to come back for another war.
Yeah, Waleed, I want to go to you next. The bodies continue to come back, 1, 2, or 3 at a time. The bodies of the hostages, that is trickling in over the last few days. Vice President J.D. Vance says because of that, there cannot be a specific timeline met, and there does need to be some flexibility here. Do you think Hamas will continue to use the bodies of those hostages as bargaining chips?
Absolutely. In the third week after October 7 on this channel and on Arabic channel, I actually projected that Hamas' goal of taking all these hostages to Israel is to gain time and to preempt an Israeli, comeback into Gaza and then the dismantling of Hamas. And that's what we're seeing right now. Israel was about 80% of finishing Hamas in the Gaza Strip. My point is, why would Israel stop its operation if the next status is not positive for the final outcome? Yes, of course, Hamas is going to try to keep those bodies, releasing them one by the other until the sponsors of the solution will say, okay, we'll give Hamas a piece of Gaza and the Israelis will start to build on the other side. What the Israelis should build first would be an anti-jihadist militia or force in their zones, and together we'll liberate the rest of Gaza if no Arab army shows up, if we can't do it of our own. And then, reconstruction and construction is going to be done anyway. Why to go so fast on reconstruction while there is a jihadi army sitting in Gaza? And they're smart enough. They will even attack the Israeli-controlled zone on the east part of Gaza. So we need to be very attentive to the strategies of Hamas, the jihadists behind them, and make sure that this organization, following the statement by President Trump, Either you disarm or we disarm you. That's the strategic, better choice we have to do.
Yeah, almost out of time, gentlemen, but I quickly want to get this question in about Russia and Ukraine following that particularly really vicious attack by Russia on a kindergarten and residential building. President Trump has slapped new sanctions on Russian oil, which the EU has just agreed to abide to. Walid, I kind of want to go back to you on this one. Do you think that's going to work? Will that help to end this war finally?
I think that it goes back to the basics. The only way you're going to have peace between Russia and Ukraine is when Putin sees he cannot win. The only thing he respects is power. It's boring, it's not sexy, it's very simple, but that is what it is at the end of the day, and everything we've seen has shown that. So I think the more Trump shows that Russia's going to be hurt to the point that they cannot withstand the pain, that's the only time that you're going to get a chance to have a ceasefire and peace in that part of the world.
Harley Lippman and Dr. Walid Phares, gentlemen, thank you both so much for your insights. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.